Hey everybody, peace. What's up? It's been a while actually since I've made a video response to another J-vlogger here on YouTube, and this is going to go up on my Taisha Jason channel, which is the home of my responses. I'll put it in the response playlist. And but I was going to leave a comment to a channel I regularly watch, Superscheu. I believe he's an ALT down in Kyushu, and and I realized, I was going to be typing the whole box. You get 500 characters on YouTube to type, and there's more that I wanted to say. So I decided I'd turn the camera on, and I took some notes on his video, and I just wanted to, respond to a few things he said. It's a good video. It's about school lunch. And on my main channel, My Argonauts, I'll try to put some links in the box to some of the videos I've made where I've talked about school lunch before, but I hadn't really brought up some of the things he mentioned. And I'll also put some links in the box to pictures I took, still pictures, on my Flickr page where, I took a picture of my tray that day in my junior high school. So he's talking about nutrition, and, excuse me, I don't know that I ever really touched on nutrition when I've talked about school lunch in the past, and it's a good topic to think about. I guess I'm just, I'm overweight. I don't really pay as good attention as to what I feed myself, but some Jets are very picky. And of course there's Jets who are vegetarian and Jets who have various allergies to certain foods. And that's all fine. You can still come. Now, he mentions in his video, if you're a really picky eater, maybe Japan is not the best place for you. And I understand where that's coming from. But for instance, I don't eat fish. I don't eat any seafood. And I survived 5 years just fine. So you can do it. But let me go down some of the things he talks about. So he's talking a lot about the fact that they just load you in school lunch with carbohydrates. And it's true. I've had a lot of Jet friends who you talk to, especially their first year, and they're like, wow, I'm kind of packing on some pounds. And it's because, you're eating a lot of noodles and pasta and rice. You're given bread a lot at school lunch. And if you do that and then go home and eat more rice, etc., it can pack on the pounds. Now, he does mention the fact that it's regional, like what kind of school lunch you get and where you get it. In my experience, if you teach at elementary school or junior high school, you're going to be fed school lunch, unless you make arrangements to bring your own food. In high school, you're not. So if you're one of the, there's less of you, but if you're in high school ALT, you get placed in a high school as your job assignment, you will be responsible for your own food. A lot of high school ALTs are able to order a bento because the staff room teachers will order food each day and have it brought in, and you're certainly welcome to do that. It obviously costs money. You also maybe have enough time to run down to the local conveni or something. It depends school to school. But you don't have to generally eat with the children, with your students, when you're in high school. When you're in junior high school, I think it varies. I certainly never had to eat with my kids. I would on occasion. In elementary school, like he mentions in the video, you generally do. You're expected to eat with one of the classes, and a lot of times the classes compete, like who gets to have you. Who gets the privilege, the honor of eating with Jason today. And they'll janken or something. If there's like, you're teaching 5th grade and there's 2 or 3 homerooms, who do you eat lunch with? So there is a problem there if you're like you said, if you're refusing foods, etc. The kids are going to watch. They're going to watch like a hawk what you eat, what you don't eat, what you like, what you don't like. And I've talked about this in other videos. I actually made the mistake early when I was a teacher of like I drink cola, and I would bring my Pepsi in with me to like the lunch, and because they give you milk, but it's often very warm because it sat out for a long time sometimes before you get to it. And finally a teacher at my junior high school, when I brought my Pepsi up to the class to eat with her homeroom, she's like, Jason, don't do that anymore. The kids can't drink soda or anything. They're only allowed to drink milk. So you're just kind of like, you're taunting them or something. I don't know what the word would be in Japanese, but anyway, teasing them, I guess. And so I realized, hey, yeah, that's duh. So that was a stupid mistake I made in my first year. So I stopped doing that. But what I did is one day a week usually I would not drink milk, and I would take my milk and write my initials on it and put it in the fridge in the staff room. And then the next day I would take my warm milk to the refrigerator, put that in, take my cold milk out, and I would have a cold milk every day for the rest of the week. And I just don't like drinking like room temperature milk. It's just kind of like, ugh. But anyway, that's generally what you're given. As opposed to what he was saying in his video, I was always kind of impressed with the variety of foods. Now, a lot of it, like he said, is carbohydrates, but I think they go to some length to ensure that you're getting kind of like a bunch of different types of food in your school lunch. Usually there's some kind of meat or fish or chicken. He mentioned whale. Yes, I had to eat whale, but only like once a year. And I think so maybe like 4 times in 5 years did I have to eat whale. And of course I could have said no. And he's right, it's not delicious. It's really very, very strong taste. And then, some kind of vegetable, usually a soup. Dessert is often a fruit, but it can also be like a sugary bread. Obviously, like I said, you're given milk. That's the only option. And he's right. I mean, there's pots of food brought up to the classroom, and the kids, take turns being like the school, in charge of school lunch for, say, that week. And they have to portion out and pour out and, give each person a chicken or each person a hamburger or whatever it is. And there's obviously, they plan out, they know how many kids, there might be a kid or 2 absent on any given day, so there's a little extra. But the kids in junior high, especially, the boys will fight for the extra. They'll, because, they just eat everything. In your staff room, if you eat in the staff room, which I did most of the time in my junior high after I'd been there a few years, they'll often have extra. Some kids obviously are lactose intolerant, can't drink milk, so there's always tons of milk. Other things kids just don't like. Maybe, it's an orange for dessert, and there's a bunch of kids who are like, I don't want to eat an orange. So there's always extra, it seems, of certain things. And, when I was presented with the problem of, say, it's a fish dish, the main meal was fish or something, or there was a tentacle in my soup or something, I'm like, oh, I'm not going to eat that. I would often just give, I would sit usually at a table with 4 or 5 kids in the classroom, and, try to have a little chat, but they're just busy stuffing their faces. And I would just give my food away. I'd be like, oh, I don't eat fish. Do you want my fish? And the kids then at the table, whoever wanted it, would junk in and, rock, paper, scissors and take my extra. And so I never had a problem with that specifically. And also because I'm overweight, the magic word for me if I didn't want to eat something was diet. Dieto. And I would just say I'm on a diet, I can't eat that this week or something, and because I didn't see them every day, so and that one word seemed to be fine. They're like, oh, okay, that's cool. They didn't seem to have a problem. So I would say that I was impressed mostly with the school lunch, and I ate it. At some schools, I had to pay for it, and then at my junior high, I think it was just that I was just on their plan. But if I went to an elementary school, usually through my supervisor, through the BOE, I would have to pay for the school lunch. Like they say, okay, you came 3 times this month, that's 300 yen per school lunch, so you have to give us 900 yen or something. And I'd be like, fine. If you don't want to eat school lunch, that's cool. You just have to really make arrangements. You can't sometimes eat it and sometimes not. Generally, you have to make a decision at the beginning of the school year and stick to it. All right. Anyway, good video, Superscheu. I enjoyed it. Interesting points, and I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Bye.